Okay, we work together. It's just that I'm a civil engineer, but I don't know why. Unfortunately, I jumped into IET because IET in Malaysia is quite prominent compared to ICE. So probably after this, going back to Malaysia, going back to KL, I should join ICE Malaysia. Okay. Thank you, ICE. Thank you, Arup. Thank you, every one of you. And I've seen we have 92. Hi, everyone on air. I'm Syuhaida. I'm from Kuala Lumpur. I'm here for 2 months. I'll be here for 2 months. I have another 30 days with Melbourne Uni. I'm the recipient of the APAC Australian Study Centre to do research on related to construction management. And compared to our dearly Prof. Priyan, okay, you got your PhD way back in 19?
No, then you know my age. So.
I heard just now. It was something in 1980s. Okay, compared to Prof. Priyan, I would consider myself as a anchovy. Okay, the day he got his PhD, I was probably just about to enter my kindergarten. Oops. Okay, so today I'll be sharing one of my our research byproducts on Biophilic. This project was actually funded by the Ministry of Higher Education, and it's on Biophilic City, emerging roles and opportunities for civil engineers, since we are in ICE. So I think this is a very timely for us to talk about this. Okay, why this issue emerged? Okay, it's based on the study by United Nations this year that in 2018, they observed that more than 50% were actually residing in the cities. And this will be, they are expecting more in the 2050s, but more than 80% will be residing in the urban areas. And this is very alarming, okay? It causes various issues to the humankind, okay, in many ways. Okay, the unbalance between the economy. And I'd like to give one example in Hong Kong. Okay, this is in Hong Kong. It's one of the most expensive cities in the world. 3 years in a row. Okay, since 2019. This is a typical sex symbol of Honky. Okay, where in 2020 more than 2,000 urbanites live in these so-called coffin homes or cages. Okay, this is what they call as anti-residence, yeah? Because of the high rise, the cost of housing. Yep. They live in these 2 times 6 feet of this plywood so-called home. Okay, and I'm not sure whether probably this is their multi-purpose area. This is real. Okay, this is real happening in Hong Kong. It could be probably happening in some other parts of the world. Okay? And this is where the United Nations says, okay, it's timely for us to talk about one of the SDG, one of the Sustainable Development Goals, that is SDG 11 on sustainable cities and communities. How to promote this? Not only in Hong Kong, not only in Asian countries, but all around the world. Okay? So today, on the topic of Biophilic, I'll be focusing more on SDG 11, that is on sustainable cities and communities. Okay, before I go in depth into Biophilic City, okay, I will be talking about green cities and also sustainable cities. I believe that you are all familiar with green cities and sustainable cities compared to Biophilic cities. Okay, so green cities are actually designed to achieve the zero impact to the environment. Okay, at the same time, sustainable cities also have the same focus, yet their concentration is more on the improvement of the quality of life. When we're talking about this quality of life, okay, we'll inject it back, we link it back with the quintuple helix. We're talking about people, about the government, about the industry, about the community, about everything. Okay, so on the other hand, what Biophilic is. Biophilic City. Biophilic City is actually coined by this fella, Timothy Bentley, a professor. He is actually an urbanist and also environmentalist from University of Virginia. He proposed that biophilic cities are the integrated city that highly promoting the connection between the human and the green surroundings. Okay, and this term biophilic is actually coined from the term biophilia. Okay? Osman Wilson is a myrmecologist, okay, study on ants. And he defines biophilia as the naturally emotional affiliation of human beings with the surroundings, with the living organism. Biophilicity, in fact, is a sister of sustainable resilience. Okay, so it actually promotes the affordance principle, where they highlight what do we need to do to improve the well-being. Okay, so this is where they promote the connection with the nature, okay, affiliate with the nature. And in comparison with the earlier concepts of green cities and sustainable cities, they apply the avoidance principle, means what not to do in the interest of the occupant's health. So what these two concepts are actually applying is that adding new element, like the non-VCO paints or the LED lights, okay, or the green rooftops, okay. Those are the things or principles under the green cities and sustainable cities. Next, one of the unique features of biophilic cities compared to the previous two is actually its opportunity that's been given to connect with the nature, especially in the cities, in the urban perspective. Okay, it could include from the tiniest invisible microbes to the urban wildlife habitats and to us, to human beings. Okay, and in fact, when we talk about the environment, okay, we've known a lot of benefits when you are actually engaging yourself with the environment. Okay, this is the latest study, okay, where he studies about the effects of the exposure when you are actually exposed to the environment, the natural environment, on the stress reduction. And this is, in fact, one of the principles adopted under the biophilic city. And this is one of the practice. We can start to apply this practice. It's called Shinrin-yoku. It's a Japanese, okay, it's a Japanese word translated into forest bathing. Okay, not really take shower. It's about you are visiting the forest, like this, where when you relate yourself, okay, with the nature world, it can eventually enhance your performance, okay, because it's actually reduce your cortisol level, okay, in your bloodstream. Okay, sorry, I have to be fast because I have 3 minutes only, right? Okay, and these are amongst the design element of biophilic cities compared to the sustainable cities and green cities. Probably it's too small, okay. One of it I'd like to highlight about how you enhance the native species ratio, how you have a lot of urban creeks, city tree canopies, the clustered housing around green areas, about the aromatic plants that you are actually promoting, you planted, and also the edible landscape. These are amongst the elements of biophilic cities compared to the aforementioned that I mentioned about the LED lights, green rooftops, and etc. This is amongst the indicators, the 4 main indicators for a city to get a status of biophilic cities. Okay, biophilic cities is actually a network of all biophilic cities worldwide. Okay, it's based in the United States. So amongst it, it's biophilic engagement. It's about how many % of the population is actually visiting the green space, okay, and become the member of the nature club. Okay, how many % of budget has been placed for conservation, and quite interesting is how many % of primary school students are actually exposed to the nature education, to the nature curricula. How many % of schools are actually giving access to the nature play. How many % is actually spending 30 minutes a day in an outdoor activity. Okay, so these are amongst the indicators that will be gauged by biophilic cities when they will grant you the biophilic status. Okay, this is one example this is not a biophilic city, it's a biophilic building, the so-called building in Sabah, Kota Kinabalu, in our Borneo part of Malaysia. It's called Etanya Green School. It's just a simple building, as you can see, it's a wooden building. But this school is actually providing the learning system, okay, with the exposure to the nature curriculum to the undocumented stateless children, especially from Indonesia and also Philippines. Okay. Okay, these are the 26 countries, 26 cities, biophilic cities, certified by the Biophilic Cities USA. One missing country? Okay, Australia, and also Malaysia. Okay, no Malaysia. Okay, no Malaysia, no Australia. How about Sri Lanka, Prof?
I think no.
No, okay, no Sri Lanka.
Actually, this is very important. What Mr. Thelma was saying was about he's really doing a lot of work in South America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mostly it's American-dominated countries, states. Okay.
Northern.
So yeah, northern part. Yeah, and yeah, the closest to us are Wellington and Singapore. Okay. So the closest to my heart is of course Singapore. Yeah, Prof Felix, where's my Prof Felix from Singapore? Okay, so why did he get the Singapore got this? Okay, it's based on their project that is called Gardens by the Bay. Okay, so it's the first biophilic city in the Southeast Asia, granted in 2013. Yeah, based on their pathway that connects parks and greens. Yeah, and of course, being a Malaysian, I like to talk a little bit about Malaysia. Anyone have been to Langkawi? Okay, you are put aside because you're not Malaysia. Okay, so yeah, Langkawi, okay, in Kedah is the northwestern Malaysia. Okay, if you know Tun Mahathir Mohamad, our previous Prime Minister, okay, he's from Kedah. Okay, so this is not a biophilic city, but we do have, based on the research that we do, this Langkawi is actually having some elements of biophilic city. Okay, so let us see. First, Langkawi, okay, is the first Southeast Asian UNESCO Global Geopark in 2007. Okay, they are actually very proud with their local plan of naturally Langkawi. Okay, let's see what are the biophilic cities elements they are actually having. Okay, first, as mentioned by the study by Patterson, okay, it should provide, biophilic city should provide the support groups, okay, that promotes these outdoor activities. Yes. It's offered in Langkawi, as you can see here. Number two, it encourages learning, okay, and enable participation in outdoor activities. Yes, it also offered. Next one, okay, it enables the residents and also non-residents to access the nature, okay, based on the local condition. These photos are all the real photo in Langkawi, okay. Next. It also incorporated both design and wild into cities, yeah, especially when they have more stormwater systems, cleaner, cooler systems, cooler air, and also water. And it also regenerates the native bush areas. Okay, this is one of the most luxurious hotel in Langkawi. Welcome to Langkawi. Okay, and then yeah, it also promotes. Remember the activities, the outdoor activities. Okay, it also promotes the engagement in ecological restoration or conservative projects, be it activities or voluntarily. And finally, it's giving you the opportunity to interact with the animal. Okay. Okay. Now let's go back to the business on biophilic city, emerging roles and opportunities for civil engineers. Okay. As Prof Priyan mentioned about the effects, all these waste management system, the poor management system, blah, blah, blah. So we know the industry that we are in, that is the building and construction sector. If these two are combined, are actually responsible for 36% of global energy consumption and 40% carbon dioxide emission. Okay, this is where, amongst other engineering professionals, even construction professionals, this is not what I'm saying. This is a study by Chowdhury and Biracha, 2013. Engineers' technical expertise has far-reaching consequences for economy, constructability, maintenance, durability, as in terms of our ability to reduce the burden on the natural resources on what are we practicing throughout the industry. So when I talk about these roles and opportunities, I'd like to touch into from the perspective of these 5 items. First is sustainable, sustainable strategy development. Okay. biophilic terms are actually alien. Okay, even just now, so you asked me, someone asked me what is biophilicity. I just simply said it's a species of, it's a brand of biscuit, by the way. Okay, so these biophilic cities, even though we have heard about so many bad things, because they don't really know what biophilic city is. Okay, they thought that it's high cost premium, complex legislation, of course, lack of awareness. Yet we civil engineers, we should pay attention, especially on the national policies and regulation related to green buildings and also biophilics. Even though biophilics is you can't find biophilics anywhere in the policy yet, but it will be somewhere. And also the current trend of the industry. Number 2, okay, we need to know that biophilicity is not only for new building. Okay, it also can be used for existing building. Okay, so you will need to assess the fitness before you can inject the element of biophilic cities. And this is where you can develop the strategies based on the elements that I've discussed before. And number 2, LCCA. Okay, it's about the travel to grave analysis that we've been doing so far. We don't rely on the QS anymore, the quantity surveyors. Okay, we should be well versed with the sustainable targets based on this LCCA. What are the cost-effective options based on our designs, and starting to quantify not only the environmental impact but also the social. Okay, and we should also play more leading roles. Okay, in delivering low energy design projects. Okay, based on our skills, especially when it is related to reusing, remanufacturing, and recycling during the designing, building, and remodeling of the biophilic cities. The third one is about the knowledge. Okay. Yeah, we know it's important for you to get to know all the elements. Okay. However, with the advancement in the BEAM, it's also timely for you to get the information, to try to link the information of the BEAM together with the biophilic city assessment points based on the biophilic cities, the indicators that has been pointed just now. Okay, and you could also starting to use more biophilia materials and also starting to encourage the construction players to do the same. And number 4, that is on the engineering solution. Yeah, we should upskill ourselves, attending more courses on green, more courses on biophilic. And yeah, we know that this greenery also poses unique risk, something like this. And this is where we can leverage on our risk management and probably creative engineering. Okay, and I like to share one short video on the risk of not properly managing these biophilic projects. Sorry, I thought, Stephen, I thought you want to sing something to cover this. Sorry, it should have sound. Okay, so this is somewhere in China. As you can see, it's like a dream city with all the trees. Yep. Okay. Why? Because only 10 families moved into this vertical forest, okay, which has been overrun by the mosquitoes, okay, built in 2018. All the apartments were sold out, okay, yet only a handful of families move in. No one to take care of the plants, no risk management, no creative engineering. Okay, it's been swallowed entirely by the plants. Okay, this is real. This is a real case study in China. Okay, okay, and the last one is about valuing the sustainability. Okay, we are at the optimum position, okay, to bring forward the biophilia agenda, because we usually give the highest input, especially during the pre-construction and construction stage. So we should play our role effectively here. And by also considering the sustainability, we should also starting to include our stakeholders, okay, as a part of our effective stakeholders management. So my question here, probably we can discuss during the networking